just
Okay, I'll start off. Hi, everybody. This is our weekly call. Right now, it's 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I believe it's 6 o'clock Pacific Time for Bill. Thank you, Bill, for getting up so early. Alfredo, I believe it's 10 o'clock for you Atlantic time, and everybody else on the call is different times, I'm sure, from different countries. Welcome, everyone, to the call today. We do all these live sessions using Zoom. We record all the sessions, as we just mentioned a second ago. And what's very important is we have weekly live session surveys. Just complete the session. Every week it's going to be the same survey, but there's different names per session. So don't go ahead and click all of them today, because all you're evaluating is today's session. Okay, everybody understand? So Alfredo, I think you have the link. Did you put it into the chat for everybody to see?
yes, yes.
Okay, it's there. So if you see that you'll see each of the sessions, each of the modules have a particular chance for you to evaluate it. So that's, I think, pretty straightforward. Within 24 hours, probably sooner, we'll convert this session and put it into our playlist. Every session we do, and this has been the case for the last 4 years, we record the sessions and share it with YouTube. Okay, so if you can't make these calls, which is not mandatory, we'd like you to come. But if you are busy eating supper, watching the kids, doing all kinds of other things, you can go back and we try to distribute the results of the today's session. We're going to go through it all, and hopefully we'll have 10 or 15 minutes at the end. We can open up for questions, and throughout the session, if something you don't understand, pop it into the chat. So myself and Alfredo will jump on it as quickly as possible. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide.
So Glenn, just to highlight a point or make
Please
a point, it would be great if you watch the recording and you have any questions or any comments, share them with the rest of the group in the discussion forum corresponding to that session in the different modules. So we would appreciate that. Thank you.
And on that, we have the first chat has been a chance for each of you to introduce yourself. Myself, Bill, and Alfredo has done a more elaborate historical bio on ourselves, so some of it may be of interest for you, but we'd love to know who you are, what you do. And we've seen some great very professional people. It's actually humbling in the knowledge that many of you have. But again, I want to stress, get to know each other. If you're doing some stuff on cybersecurity in your country, one of the other people, they're not a threat to you. Be open to them, connect with these people. The beauty of this course is not just learning from us three, but from each other. Okay, and did you want to add to that, Alfredo?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, let's go on. Okay. On the left is the handsome Alfredo Calderon, and on the right is the handsome Glenn McKnight. So that's us. We've been doing these sessions for quite a few. We've done it in English, French, and Spanish. So here we are, and we have, unfortunately, we don't have our other folks with us that are language experts, but we have Lillian, who's from Colombia. She's a huge help with our Spanish course. And a Spanish course will be coming up in March, mainly with Cuban students. We have Rukia, who's working with us on our French translation. Moyable is working on our Bengali. We have a team of people working on the Bengali translation, and Wakar is working on our Urdu translation. So that's our team. We have an advisory council as well, which is a group of other people that give us advice. We meet together sometimes at ICANN meetings, but it's a great team. So very quickly, this is our list of sponsors: Google and PIR and PR, and LACNIC and Aaron have been sponsors for 2025. The other ones we're pursuing again for the renewal, but we thank each and every one of our sponsors. It keeps the course as a free course. It keeps us the lights on. It pays research we do and our assistants. So thank you to our sponsors for supporting us. Next slide. Okay, so we're going to cover a quick agenda. Why did we create VSIG in the first place? Who is involved? What are the features and benefits? What are the immediate outcomes for current student cohorts? Housekeeping and the live walkthrough. Did you want to, Alfredo, start off?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Why did we create VSIG? This for historical context, we're two of the three founders of the North American School of Internet Governance, and we couldn't do a face-to-face meeting because of COVID in 2020. So we decided after a dialogue, this is what happens when you have too much to drink, I think. No, just joking. We decided that the tenets, the principles of what we wanted to do, it had to be a free online course. It had to be available to everyone, regardless of their internet and speeds. So that was a central tenet. Now, I have to emphasize, Alfredo has an expertise in online, excuse me, online design of courses. So he did a fairly extensive look at what tools are out there in the marketplace and how to design a course like what we principally want to do. And so we wanted a program, whatever we selected, it had to be an interactive experience like we're doing today with the Zoom room, but more so with throughout the entire course of people within the course and advisors and other people that there's an interactive experience. We wanted to have, with our final survey, you're doing this session today, evaluation, but in addition to that, we have a final wrap up session. And I could tell you, some of the excellent suggestions, and I'm sure all of you have suggestions as well. They were the ones that came up with asking us to include a new module, which was emerging technology. That came out of the mouths of people who gave feedback to us how to improve the course. And we're always open to new experience. I have to stress this again and again. This course does not replace the value of a face-to-face experience that you would have at a School of Internet Governance, whether it be the Southern School of Internet Governance, the Indian School of Internet Governance, APC, the African School of Internet Governance, or Ghana School, whatever.
Glenn, we lost audio.
Yeah, we lost you, Glenn.
I'm back. Okay, so yeah, we're into the features. Maybe go back one slide. I don't think I finished entirely. No, the one. Okay. Again, not to replace. And the last thing, we identified that we needed to put all together an entry-level education for the IG professional. That's IG being Internet Governance Professional. It's not the definitive educational source, but it's a bump above what other people are doing in the educational sphere. So I think it's a sweet spot in terms of the educational delivery. Next slide. Okay, you've met me, Glenn McKnight. I'm project coordinator. The academic director is Alfredo. We have language specialists, advisory council, program evaluators, and guest speakers of each and every one of our sessions. And not lastly, but firstly, is all the participants, which are over 2,000. Next slide. Okay, what are some of the features? Maybe I'll turn that to you.
Sure. This is Alfredo, by the way, and I'm residing in Puerto Rico. where the weather is warm, not as cool as in Canada or in probably California right now with the cold front that they're having. But let's talk a little bit about the features of the platform we're using. Uh, it's a cloud-based online learning platform. It's called Moodle. Some of you may be familiar with Moodle. At one point in time, VSIG used to use it. Now they changed to something else. And in most universities that have a low budget for online learning platforms are using Moodle as well. The way that we have implemented this course in the platform, it's a media-rich online internet governance content course. It has a lot of videos, it has a lot of ebooks, it has references to point you to repositories of additional material that you can look into if you want to do a more deep dive into any particular topic on internet governance. And we'll talk about this a little bit more down the road. It's mobile friendly, and that means that you can download some of the content on your mobile device, be it an iPad, a tablet of any kind, even on your cell phone, and you can watch and read the content offline. And then you can go to do the quizzes if you're interested in the certificate of participation that we'll talk about in a little while as well. It's a complete management system for students, teachers, and administration. So if you read 1984, the book uh, by a great author, you'll read that they talk about the Big Brother. So we are the Big Brothers, and when I say we, I'm talking about myself and Glenn. So we know who logs in, we know what you're looking at. But again, it's up to you to read or watch whatever you are interested in within the course. But we once in a while send out some messages to some people that we know that are a little behind, and we want everybody to finish the course and acquire all the knowledge that they need. So I mentioned that it's offline learning, so you can download the material if you want to. We have the Zoom sessions every week, as Glenn mentioned, and it's important that those that can't watch them at least see them afterwards and comment, give us some feedback on the speaker and the content that was covered. We have a discussion forum, which is great to exchange information, similar to what you have been doing in the introduction discussion forum that we have in the introduction module. We have quizzes, and I'll talk about the quizzes a little bit later on. And we have a certificate of completion that you will receive when you meet all the requirements that we're going to be mentioning in a while. Now, this is the certificate of completion that you will get once you complete all the requirements of the course. And this is programmed within the platform itself and within the course. So there's no working around this. If you don't meet all the requirements, the system won't generate the certificate with your name as you have it in your profile and the date you complete the course. And it will add a unique identifier for us to be able to report back to any organization that is interested in verifying that you completed this course as well.
Oh, sorry. Spelling of your name. So that's really critical because it's your responsibility. We took your name when you did the registration, but maybe you typed it wrong. So if you want your name spelled correctly on the certificate, you need to go in on your account and make sure it's spelled right. Or maybe you want it slightly different.
Yeah, and I'll actually show you where you can verify that your name is correct.
Thank you.
And if you need to edit it, you can do it. Thank you, Glenn, for that comment. So if you want to download the mobile app, the Moodle app for your mobile device, all you have to do is go to the corresponding app store, be it Android or Apple store, and look for, and there you have the link for the application for the app. And all you need in order to log in to your account on your mobile device is it'll ask you for the URL, which is internetgovernance.moodlecloud.com. It'll ask you for your username and your password, which you all have if you're here or if you received the message with the credentials already and been interacting with us. Just to give you a sense of what you can see if you use a mobile device, you see there's three screenshots. This is how it looks on my iPhone, my smartphone. Uh, and that's the way you'll see the material if you use that device using the Moodle app. This is how it looks if you use a tablet. In my case, I'm using an iPad, so you see that it has exactly the same information, but in a different distribution. It has all the same menu items on the left, which in the participant guidebook, you can read about each one of them so you can better understand them if you haven't used them before. So one of the first thing that you need to do in order to get the certificate of completion or participation is to read the participant guidebook. It's in the introduction module. It's a PDF. You can download it and read it as many times as you need to read it, but then make sure you check on done so that we know and the system knows that you have taken care of that item as part of the requirements for the certificate. These are some screenshots of how some of the content looks in terms of the format. Now, let me explain to you a couple of things. Each module has a section on the objectives, and it has the actual content in a book format. And this is what you're seeing on your screen. On the left, you can see how it looks on the your smartphone, and on the right, you see how it looks on the tablet or iPad if you're using that. The important thing is that it's a book format which has, as a book, it has chapters, and each chapter has sections. So you'll be able to click specifically on a topic, but we recommend, of course, that you follow the sequence because it has some kind of a flow and it refers to different items as you read or go through the material. Each book, each module has videos, as I mentioned, it has audio files, it has ebooks, and it has some text, and it has questions. Questions that will help you reflect on the content you are reading. And we expect you to go to the discussion forum of that module and sort of answer the questions or reflect on the readings and give us some input so that we can better understand where you're coming from and if you really understand the material. And if you have anything else that you think that is worthwhile for us to know, just write it there so that we're aware of that. And we will weekly or maybe daily, if we have time, look at those comments and come back to you with some more or additional information. This is a quiz, and as you can see, it's in combination of English and French. Now, the quizzes have different formats. You're going to see in the quizzes have multiple choice questions, true and false. They have multiple choice where there's more than one correct answer, matching questions, there's click and drag questions. We try to mix it up so there's different type of questions so you don't get bored answering true or false questions or yes or no questions at all. Now, keep in mind that these questions are general questions. We're not trying to catch you. We're not trying to penalize you. The quizzes, you can take them as many times as you need to take them. Each one of the quizzes has a 80% minimum requirement. So as long as you can reach 80%, that quiz will go towards the requirements that you need to get the certificate at the end. Each quiz, not between all the quizzes, but each quiz has an 80% minimum requirement. So some of the students' benefits, Glenn, and I'll leave this to you.
Okay, so every one of you have your own academic roadmap. You went through academic school, you went through college or university, you may be taking some online on courses, and as your job description changes, you may start getting more interested in some Coursera courses or different stuff. So like any course, there is goals for that course. And so we want to encourage you with the idea that when we designed this course, we had a clear idea of an educational roadmap, and particularly for the IG professional. The learning environment that we have here is to encourage knowledge and also sharing of your knowledge and your life experiences with others. We can't force you to do that. Some people are more verbal or more sharing, but you know, it's fine. My job and Bill and Alfredo is when we read your comments, if we can help you connect to people, or you'll see if you've been looking at the announcements, anytime I see a fellowship, anytime I see something that could particularly benefit you, we're going to try to push it to you. If you use it, great. If you don't use it, fine. So please bear in mind, we're just trying to help you. We encourage you to participate with the interactive online experience and environment, and that's through discussions. There is a one-to-one chat feature within it, and also these live sessions. So again, that there are some tangible benefits beyond the piece of paper. Not everybody's going to worry about getting a certificate. It's not life-changing, but clearly if you're looking down the road to getting a fellowship from different organizations, I'm not going to mention which ones, but you know, they want to see that you're actually dedicated to your lifelong learning. So it's not going to hurt you getting the certificate, and you got plenty of time to take to read through the material and do the quizzes, and we'll go over the criteria. But that's in general the student benefits. So next slide. Okay, so the student obligations, as we said, go through all the modules. Okay, we don't expect you to read everything. Don't get overwhelmed. Some people may not even care about security, and they'll just look it over, you know, and and they're not going to dive into the supplementary material. The supplementary material, particularly in security, is huge. We don't expect you to read it all, but there might be some articles there that you like, or an ebook that you could download, or a YouTube video that we found. Those you can always capture. You can bookmark those. So complete the modules, complete all the quizzes, and as we said, you could do them as many times as you want, and then you get your 80%. The idea, they're not entrapment. They're meant as a memory guide. It's to help you remember the material. And then we have a final evaluation survey, and that's critical to us, and we appreciate if you could do that. And we'd appreciate comments that, you know, that are substantial, not just saying it was a great course or you guys stink. So if there's something that could improve the course for the next group, we'd appreciate it. Next slide. Okay, now I'm going to turn it back to you.
Sure. Now, regarding the spelling of your name, how can you verify that it's correct? And if it's not, you can edit it. On the top right side of the of your account, you'll see that there's a sort of a button there that if you click on it, it'll give you a sub menu. The first option is profile, as you can see on the left image. And on the right side, you'll see that it gives you your name and it gives you some more details on your profile. So what do you have to do? The first thing is look at your email, make sure that it's correct. Please change the country because when we upload the candidates or the participants, we really don't look at the country or the city. Since I'm the admin of the platform, I upload them and it takes as the default Puerto Rico and San Juan, which is where I reside. Now, going through the profile, you'll see that it has your first name, make sure that it's correct. It has your surname or your last name, make sure that it's correct. The way you want to see it on the certificate of completion or participation. Otherwise, you can click on it and correct it. This is your account. You're the only one that can actually do that besides myself, but we prefer to have you do it because in some cases, we might, misspell your first or last name. The email, of course, if you're here, it's because you got the information and the credentials. And as I mentioned, the city, the country, and the time zone are important for us because we want to have a clear idea of where you are located, and that might impact why you're not participating actively in the discussions in a timely manner, or you're not watching the live sessions because of your time zone difference. So we would like to collect that information so that we can generate some reports down the road to get more ideas of how we can improve the delivery of the live sessions and so forth. The other thing is that if you want to add a picture, you can actually do that. It's right there under your profile. We would like to see you your image, or if we have we don't have some bandwidth issues, you can activate your camera so we can see you as well. And these are the steps you have to follow in order to upload your image. Locate the file in your computer, click on it, and then on the bottom, you'll see that it gives you sort of a space where you can describe your picture, because we're trying to be accessible compliant. So if there's someone that's difficult reading material, he can at least hear what the image represents in that particular case. As I mentioned before, one of the requirements for the certificate of completion is the participant guidebook. When you go to the course in the introduction module, you'll see that there's an area that says mark as done. So once you have read it, you have downloaded or gone through it, just click on mark as done, and that will change to done, which means that you have completed that task or that activity, and that is important for the certificate of completion, as I mentioned. So that's one of the requirements that we're looking for throughout the course. As you have all done already, those that have participated, there's the discussion forum. For each module, we have a discussion forum. And in some cases, we start the discussion forum, the discussion thread, with a question, with a comment, or even with a reference to additional resources that the speaker of that week's session or for that module has recommended that we, as the team in charge, add to the conversation that he had during that week, and we try to aggregate all that information and share it with you all. So as you all know as well, the live sessions, each module has a section where it mentions that if we're going to use Zoom or if it's a recorded session, just watch out for that. And all you have to do is click on the link that indicates the meeting room that you have to access. In some cases, you'll need to give us some information and you'll get a confirmation email so that you can log in. In other cases, it's just straightforward. Once we start, you can just click on the link and you'll be able to log in.
Sorry, can you go back to the last slide for a second? I just want, the gentleman that's being shown there is Lito. He used to be a ICANN board member. So I think I want to bring to your attention the hard work we do to try to find really premium speakers on these calls. So it's a lot of our work to get really good speakers. He did a session on emerging technology, probably one of the best slideshows we have, which goes into the history and actually on AI. It was really educational. We've had some incredible speakers, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But he's now a MAG member with the IGF.
Hey, thank you for that. And actually, we've had him in both English and Spanish versions of the course, and he's been a great supporter of this initiative for the last 5 years. Actually. So the other thing that we have is the required completion questionnaire. As Glenn mentioned at the end, in the last module, we have a sort of a questionnaire that covers all the areas of the course so that we have a sense if there's something that we're missing. We have some open questions that we would like to get some feedback from each and every one of you. And you can see that I mentioned to you that we have some audio files, and this is sort of a way to reinforce what we're talking about. So we don't only have text, videos, or text, we also have some audio files to complement the course. Now, as a summary, these are the set of requirements if you want a certificate of completion. First of all, update your profile information to make sure that your name is as you want it to appear on your certificate. Click on the participant guidebook and mark it as done or completed so that that reflects in the requirements list needed. Take all the quizzes, and you can see the image on the right that shows the list of all the quizzes, and you need a minimum of 80% on each one. And as mentioned previously by Glenn and by myself, you can take them as many times as you need. These are not quizzes to entrap you. It's just to serve as a memory aid, as mentioned before. And automatically, when you finish the required completion questionnaire, the system will generate your certificate, and you'll get a message in your email account with a copy of the certificate in PDF, and you will also be able to download it directly from the Moodle site after you finish all the list of requirements that I just mentioned. We expect you to participate in the discussion threads as mentioned, and we would like you to review the live sessions and complete the speaker short survey that is in the chat and that we will add again in a moment. Glenn, anything that I missed?
No, that's great.
Okay, next slide then. Whoops. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so you saw this slide already. This is our first session. It's today. Next slide. Okay, I'll take care of the next session as well. It's going to be at the history of the internet. So there's a ebook version of the slideshow as well. So it's the rich history. It's a short history, but it's a rich history of the evolution of the internet. Next slide. That's on the 27th. Okay, this is actually more than just Karen. It's going to be Karen Mulberry of IEEE Standards Branch. It's going to be Rita Mole. She's with ICANN ALAC. She's with Connecting Communities. She's with based in Ottawa. So she's probably the most outspoken person on multi-stakeholderism with ICANN, and we also have Andrew. So that'll be on the February 3rd. Okay, I don't think Mike Rotenball will be February 10th. I think he's rescheduled to later. I think I've swapped this one out for the speaker on economics, but Mike's based in Puerto Rico now. I'm not sure, Alfredo, if you had a chance to meet him. but he's relocated to Puerto Rico. He's a lawyer, longstanding member of the ICANN community. He's a member of the NOMCOM, so he'll be speaking about the legal issues. Those who are lawyers amongst us, I'm sure you'll be very interested in Mike's session. He'll be digging deep into the DNS and the legal aspects of intellectual property, and great session. So that'll be on February 10th.
Glenn mentioned DNS, that's the domain name system, just so that everybody's aware.
Yeah, we'll have to come up with some kind of penalty for every time I use an acronym or that we get hit. So thank you. Actually, I did two acronyms. I did NOMCOM and I did DNS. As Bill has pointed out, it's the committee that nominates people to the board. So there was two. Oh, I'm glad you two are joining us. Okay, Shidrip, good friend of ours. He's a mentor with the fellowship program with ICANN. Shidrip's based in Nepal, so he's a very good expert on social media as well. So Shidrip and I, he commits me to presentations with his groups, and I do vice versa. So he's going to talk about development. That will be on February 17th. This is a cartoon version of Elizabeth. She does not look like this, but it's ICANN produces little playing cards, and this is Elizabeth Bacon's, or Liz, or Beth. She'll be talking about security, and this is an interesting one. She works with the organization called Public Interest Registry, and also NGO. She'll be talking about how PIR are involved with protecting its end users on security. Next slide.
It's worth mentioning that PIR are the ones that manage .org. So that's important to know.
Yeah, so those who on this group who are ISOC members, maybe international, maybe part of a special interest group. And if you are not members of ISOC, shame on you, because it's important to get involved. You may be on the executive of your local ISOC chapter. So please look into that. We go out of our way in the actors section, great detail. There's a great graphic on the players within the ISOC community. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up, PIR is controlled by ISOC, and they're the ones that funnel about $38 million, $40 million a year to ISOC, so ISOC can do their good work. So it's worth keeping that in mind. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is E. Marie Bursley. She's out of Arizona. I think she's on the advisory council, maybe on the board. I'm not sure. I have to look at the election results of Aaron, but she's involved in the North American registry. Aaron is the North American registry. There's 5 RERs. You'll see that within the actors section, but she'll be talking about infrastructure. Okay, next slide. Won't be a session because we'll all be in Seattle, Bill, myself, and Alfredo. This is important because the week before and during the ICANN meeting, they are streaming all the sessions. So from sunup to sundown, as they say. So before the ICANN meeting, which is that week, there is a series of sessions that are pre-ICANN that you should look into and attend. Particularly, I'm interested in something called universal acceptance and international domain names. So I watch that very carefully because I'm involved with indigenous language issues in North America. So in order to have their script online, but there's many other topics. This upcoming session, if I'm not incorrect, I think it's a policy session, right, guys?
Yes, it is. No, this is the community forum.
Okay, so the one in June is the policy. Okay, so that's on March 10th, so there will not be a live session that week. Okay, next one. Okay, Natalie Turkova is a PhD student She's, I believe, out of Slovakia, maybe Macedonia. I'm sorry, Natalie, if I didn't get your country right. She took our course before. That's one of the things we're very interested in, is anyone in this group that has done advanced research. We're happy to have you as a speaker. As you notice, we try to have a real good mix between North and South, or global North and global South, male and female, corporate and non-corporate. So we try to really have a mix up of different speakers. They're not all sponsors, for example. So we are interested in different voices in our presentations. And again, part of the beauty of what we try to do is we try to use our wealth of knowledge and contacts in order to encourage people to be speakers.
Something interesting. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Glenn. Something interesting with Natalie is that she has got involved in internet governance through her passion, and she has been a participant in the North American School of Internet Governance. She was a student in this course, the Virtual School of Internet Governance. She has been a fellow with other organizations, and as a result of that, she is now one of the ALAC, or the at-large committee in ICANN, and she's probably one of the youngest members of the ALAC as we stand right now. Besides another person that hopefully we'll have as a invited guest speaker in the future, Kathleen Scoggins from Washington University in Washington, D.C. So that's something that you should be aware of, that this is sort of a stepping stone to get more involved in internet governance and become a leader within one of the IG organizations around the world.
Indeed, good point. And as you say, it's a stepping stone, and I think that's one of the indirect benefits. I'm not saying you get a job because you took the VSIG course. That's not what we're saying. I think it looks good on your resume. I think it gives you some good knowledge, and especially when you're going for different things, fellowships and stuff, if you don't show that you've actually put some time in learning this basic material, you know, it's a little bit challenging for people evaluating your application. So kudos to Natalie and others who rose up the ranks and recognize the value. Okay, so that's on human rights, and I think her particular focus, and I think we have a couple of people very interested in the feminist internet and also children's rights. So I think connecting with Natalie, and we do encourage this a lot, and they're very welcome to it, to get their emails, to get their contacts, and you never know, they may become a friend. So, you know, all of us are in this together. We're here to help each other. Okay, next one. Okay, Judith Hellerstein. She's an ALAC member for Norello, been actively involved with the North American at-large organization, which is Norello. Notice that. She's also in something called a special interest group, or with ISOC, which is for persons or people with disabilities. So we're having Judith come in, and she's going to speak on the rights of the disabled and what is being done, whether it's WCAG or W3Z. We're looking at how the rights of 15% of our population, world population, have a disability. Very significant population. So Judith is joining us on the social and cultural module, and you'll see. In fact, ISOC has a new course online on people who are trying to implement for their website and for their community issues. It's a little bit more in depth of what we will do, but I encourage you, if you're interested, is to look up the course being delivered by ISOC. Next slide.
Before we move forward, it's interesting to also know that the Internet Society, ISOC, offers some grants if you're interested in starting a project in this area in particular. And as a sort of a sideline here in Puerto Rico, we got from the ISOC Foundation a grant that we're implementing on accessibility this year and the coming year with one of the universities here in the island. So think about that, and if you want more information, get in touch with me, and I'll share with you later on the ISO Foundation website so you can look at all the other opportunities that they have there for you. And I know some of you are aware of those because you are also part of an ISO chapter in your country. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and if there's no ISOC chapter in your country, you can always be a global member. So bear that in mind. Okay, the last session, this will not be done on March 31st because of Ramadan. Dr. Walid Zafar, he's in Dubai now. He used to be a professor in Stockholm, but he was on the ISOC board with me when I was on the ISOC board. So we're going to coordinate a recording, but he'll be talking about an element of emerging technology. I believe it's either going to be on AI or on blockchain. I'm not absolutely sure at this point, but it'll be one of the two. I'm not sure when I'll record that, but I'll do a placeholder in the module of the recording. But I don't want to lose him given his insights and knowledge. So he'll be our last speaker in emerging technology. Over to you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add and mention that remember that this isn't the first course we have offered. This is the ninth or the 10th iteration of the course. And for each one of them, we have a playlist of all the sessions that we've had. And if you go back and into the YouTube channel of VSIG, you'll see that very interesting speakers on emerging technologies, talking on blockchain, even quantum computing in some instances, artificial intelligence, and so forth. So it's worthwhile going back and listening to some of those previous live session speakers because they are very interesting. And I just want to add that if you're thinking about, well, who else have you had as a speaker? We've had Vin Cerf. We've had Robert Kahn, and we have had Steve Crocker a couple of times as well. So we try to reach out to the key people that we understand can talk about the history of the internet, the history of internet governance, the infrastructure, how it was developed until what we have right now and a look into the future. So we're trying to grasp all the areas of interest of all the participants in each one of the courses we have. And that's why it's important that we get to know who you are and in the introduction module so that we can tailor some of the speakers and some of the discussions to take care of your questions, your concerns, the issues that you may have in your region or your part of the world. So let's go on. It's almost time. We have about 10 more minutes. So if you don't have any, if you have questions, let's skip the live walkthrough because I don't want to burden you with that. Most of you have already have a look at the course and have seen some of the material. So Glenn, do we have any questions from the audience?
I don't see anything. There's been some thank yous from Robert, and I've seen a lot of people have been telling they're rubbing it in. They're saying there's 30 degrees in their country, and I'm sure it's quite warm in your country as well. But I can tell you it's minus 14 where I am. It's freezing. So folks, any questions for us? Is it clear as mud for everybody what we're trying to achieve and the course itself? Again, I want to stress, if you look at the ebooks that we put there, there's a little icon at the bottom. You can download that book. And we did that on purpose because when he came across a publication, the publication wasn't always, when you go back, it may have disappeared or they removed it or whatever. So we want you to have access to this wonderful material. And if you see something that could add to the repertoire of materials, let us know, and we'll grab it, we'll put it as, convert it to an ebook and share it. So I just want to paraphrase, this has been attributed to Abraham Lincoln, whether it's true or not. Bill and Alfredo, you guys being Americans, I'm a Canadian, so I don't really know. So I think there's a bit of an adaptation on this. You can please some of the people all the time, which is a very small number, and all of the people some of the time, but you can't not please all the people all the time. So some of you are absolutely ecstatic with this type of format, what we're doing. Some people want to be a different kind of course that's very structured, lots of assignments, essays, marking, and those kind of people need a hair shirt. We are not going to spend our time. I'm involved with 2 translations, and Alfredo's involved with the Spanish group from Cuba. We have other things we do besides delivery of this course. So bear in mind, this is a proven 11 cohorts later. Is a proven format. So we hope most of you are happy with it. We can't absolutely guarantee. Oh, we have a question here. Can we reach out to either of you for technical support with the site or any other relevant? Absolutely. You guys all have our emails. I'll put it in. Mine is info@vsig.org. That's and Alfredo's is registration. Just typing it in here. Okay. I think that's it for me.
Okay, so let's see if are there any other questions, concerns? This is a list of the different resources in terms of how you can reach us that we have out there. The last 2 are Glenn's and my email, so you can reach out us through there. There's a website where we announce things for the public in general, which is virtualsig.org. The online platform, of course, the link is there. If you have questions, there's a sort of a FAQ in a section within the virtual SIG site. And we have a Facebook page where you can also read about what's happening, and we share the recordings and other information there as well. So that's it for me, Glenn.
Thank you all, and thank you, Bill, for joining us so early in the morning. Thanks everybody for joining us. I hope it's clear as mud for you, and we will look forward to seeing you. Let's all dialogue through the discussion threads, and we hope you enjoy it and you get something out of it. So thanks everybody for joining us. So that concludes the call today. Oh, we have a hand raised from Adula. Go ahead, Adula.
Yeah, thank you and sorry for interrupting you at the end. I just have one suggestion, for the course related update and for update related to journal IG community. Should we have a separate email, because we are receiving all the updates, all the chats notification from same email list. So there is two quite confusing. So I just we can make a separate list for updates and separate for the you can say course related update.
Okay, excellent, great. Thank you for the idea. Alfredo, we can talk about that offline.
Yeah, sure. But just to clarify on that point, if I recall correctly, you can there's a section where you can decide not to receive all the updates. So look into that in your account, Abdul, and make sure that
Okay,
that
fine.
I'm correct on that. Okay. Otherwise, get in touch
Okay,
with me or with Glenn and we can resolve that.
yeah, and not for the, I have other question, not specific to this agenda, but other email we have discussed related to the translation. So I am waiting for the, you can say, another call where we have to discuss the translation of content in Urdu, and you just send a message in Bengali as well. But I am from native language is Urdu, so one of, I think so, colleague from Pakistan is already working on it. So I would like to get some updates, and I figure out where I can contribute my part in translation
Perfect.
work.
Thank you. The person in charge of the Urdu is Wecker, and I'm going to be talking to him in 2 minutes. So I'll mention that to him. He's building his team. Our Bengali group is very strong. It's working with people on both sides of the border in Bangladesh and also in India. So that's coming along very strongly. So we have a very large team for that. So, but happy to have you on board. As you know, there's a lot of work to translate everything. So looking forward to it. I'll let them know.
Yep, thank you so much.
Okay, folks, that's it for us. I got to run. Chat to you. And so that concludes the recording, and the recording will be up as soon as it gets compiled. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Have a great day. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.